Hi boys and girls, welcome to Ms Floatie's Imaginarium. Today we're going to go on an adventure and we're going to read a story called Mr. Zingers Hat. Once we're finished reading our story, we're going to jump in and we're going to do a fun activity based off of our story. Are you guys ready to join me? Let's go! Mr. Zingers Hat, written by Cory Fagan, illustrated by Dusan Petricic. Every day after school, Leo took his ball into the courtyard. He threw the ball high into the air. It would hit the brick wall and bounce back, and Leo would try to catch it. And every day, Leo saw Mr. Zinger. Mr. Zinger walked around the courtyard over and over. He was small and old, and to Leo looked like an elf or a goblin. He always wore a black suit and a hat. He shuffled forward deep in thought. Mr. Zinger made up stories. The stories were published in magazines and in books. Leo's mother would say to him, "Don't disturb Mr. Zinger. He's making up stories. He's working." One afternoon, Leo threw his ball higher than ever before. Up it went until finally it smacked against the wall. The ball bounced back and zipped across the courtyard, right toward Mr. Zinger. Mr. Zinger didn't even notice. He was too busy thinking. Poof! The ball knocked Mr. Zinger's hat off of his head. "Oh, my hat!" cried Mr. Zinger. He reached up, but the wind had caught the hat and blown it high above the courtyard. Mr. Zinger patted his bald head. "Young man," he called, "help me get my hat." Leo ran. He turned this way and that as the wind swirled the hat about. At last, it started to come down, dipping lower and lower. Leo held out his hand. The hat came right down over Leo's baseball cap. Leo took off the hat and gave it to Mr. Zinger. "So much excitement," Mr. Zinger said. "It makes me tired. Come, young man, let's sit on the bench." So Leo sat on the bench beside Mr. Zinger. "What is your name, young man?" "Leo." "Well, Leo, I wonder why my hat took off like that. Maybe there is something inside it," said Mr. Zinger, peered into the hat. "What is it? What's inside the hat?" asked Leo. He looked too, but he didn't see anything. "Ah, I see now," said Mr. Zinger. "It's a story trying to get out." "What story?" asked Leo. "Let me see," Mr. Zinger said, peering into the hat with his pale eyes. "Once upon a time there was a man." "Could it be a boy?" asked Leo. "Yes, you're right, a boy. Now this boy was very poor." "He might be rich," Leo ventured. Mr. Zinger scratched his head. "Why not? He was rich as a king, an emperor, a czar. He was also very unhappy. Can you see why?" Leo looked into the hat. He thought a moment, because he had nothing to do. "Okay, so one day this boy makes a proclamation." "What's a proclamation?" asked Leo. "An announcement. He will give half of his wealth and possessions to any child who can cheer him up." Children from all over the land lined up at the door of the boy's mansion, hoping to be the one. "This ought to be good," said Leo. "The first child," said Mr. Zinger, "offered the boy a gold watch." "Boring," said Leo. The boy thought so too. The next child brought him an electric guitar. Yes, but the boy already had a better one, and the other children brought him many more things. A diamond, a flat-screen TV, a canoe, a live monkey. Yes, 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 and again, yes. But either the boy already had those or else they didn't interest him. He was very disappointed, but just as he was closing the door of his mansion, he saw something. Leo looked into the hat. A boy running toward the door. Exactly, said Mr. Zinger. Did the boy running toward the door have a name? Asked Leo. Of course, everybody has a name, doesn't he? But I can't quite make it out. Maybe you can. It was dark inside the hat. Leo cocked his ear in and listened. Leo. The boy's name was Leo. As good a name as any, said Mr. Zinger. So Leo went to the door, all out of breath. The rich boy said to him, What have you got that all the others don't have? And Leo held something up. What was it? What did he hold up? Asked Leo. You tell me, said Mr. Zinger. But I don't know, said Leo. You don't know. Are you so sure about that? You knew that the story was about a boy and not a man. You knew that he was rich and not poor. You knew that he didn't want a gold watch. You even knew the name of the boy who ran up to the door. So maybe you do know what this Leo held up. So what was it? Leo thought. He closed his eyes and thought hard. At last he opened his eyes again. A ball. A ball, said Mr. Zinger. An ordinary ball, like your ball. Yes, said Leo. Okay then, said Mr. Zinger. So Leo held up an ordinary ball and he said to the rich boy, Would you like to play catch with me? I know what the boy said, Leo told him. He said yes. They played all afternoon and the next day too, and became best friends, said Mr. Zinger. And Leo didn't even want half of the boy's wealth, said Leo. He gave it all away. He's some boy, this Leo. Except for the electric guitar and the monkey. He kept those. And that's the end, asked Mr. Zinger. Yes, that's the end. I like it. I like it too. Mr. Zinger got up with a groan. And now, young man, I must return to my desk. I have a story to write. About Leo and the rich boy? Mr. Zinger put his hat back on his head. No, he said, that's not my story. That's your story. But maybe another story will try to get out of my hat. There's no end of them, you know. Mr. Zinger smiled and nodded and walked away slowly. Leo looked at his ball. He threw the ball against the wall and caught it. He did it again and again. He threw it once more, and this time it went very high, hit the wall, and bounced over Leo's head. I've got it, somebody said. Leo turned. A girl. She caught the ball. The girl came up to him. Do you want to play catch? She said. For a long time they played catch, then tag, then hide and seek. Finally, they were too tired to play anything and sat on the bench. What's your name? Leo asked. Sophie. Mine's Leo. Do you want to share my chocolate? Asked Sophie, taking a bar from her pocket. Sure. They sat eating chocolate. Leo took off his cap. He said, I have a story inside my cap. I like stories. Once upon a time there was a boy. Sophie looked into the hat. Can it be a girl? She asked. Okay, a girl. She was rich as a queen, but she wasn't very happy. Do you know why? Because her mother and father had been captured by an ogre. Exactly, said Leo. The end. Here are the materials that you guys are going to need to do our silhouette. You're going to need some black construction paper. You're going to need some white paper to do your final project on. You're going to need some paint, a paintbrush. You're going to have some paper towel if you want to wipe your paintbrush off. You're going to need some scissors as well. Ms Floatie also has a pencil so I can draw out my shapes. Welcome back, boys and girls. I hope you guys really enjoyed this story as much as Ms Floatie did. Now that we're finished reading the story and we went on an adventure with Leo and Mr. Zinger, now I want to create a silhouette. Now, a silhouette is a combination of a white piece of paper, cutting out an object or a shape of some sort and then painting around it. Now, because we were reading Mr. Zingers Hat, let's do a hat shape. Can you guys make your own hat shape? Ms Floatie is going to go ahead and draw out her hat shape. You guys can follow along. Doesn't have to be perfect. But I've got my hat shape. Now I'm going to cut it. Can you guys go ahead and do the same thing? Let's cut them. I don't know about you guys, but mine looks like a hat. All right, now that we have our silhouette piece, let's grab out our white pieces of paper. So Ms Floatie has my white piece of paper here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place my hat on my paper. Now that we have it in the middle of our paper, let's go ahead and let's pick out the colors we would like to use. So, Ms Floatie, if you can see in the middle here, I have 3 different types of paints. I have my blue, I've got my yellow, and I've got my red. Now, if you guys don't know, those are our primary colors. You may pick any other color. You can do purple, pink, green, any color you would like. Ms Floatie likes to stick with our primary colors because we can mix and make our own. So Ms Floatie is going to do red and blue. So let's go ahead and start painting around the hats. Perfect. As you guys can see, my white piece of paper has turned to 3 different colors, and you guys can still see the silhouette, Mr. Zingers' hat, in the middle of the paper. Now, what I want us to do to make our final project happen, can you guys remove Mr. Zingers' hat from your paper? Let's see what it looks like. Can you guys see the shape of our hat? A little bit closer. Can you see the shape of our hat now? Wonderful. Now that we've made our silhouette and we've got a picture of our hat here, if you guys are able to write on your own, I want you guys to start writing Me's story. Mr. Zinger made up his own stories inside of his hat. So I would really encourage you guys now to make up your own story and write it inside on the white part of your hat. I would love to hear all about the stories you guys have created, so don't forget to comment. If you guys enjoyed doing the silhouette art activity with Ms Floatie, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.